Yeah, I want to show y'all this book that my granddaddy got me. It's called Mine Eyes Have Seen. He actually gave it to me about 2-3 years ago, and I'm really just now opening and looking at all the pictures. But the photos in the book are by Bob Adelman, and Charles Johnson does the essays, and they show society the true images of what was going on during the Civil Rights era, during Jim Crow eras. And this was like the motivation that I needed, because so much of what I do is to show people our history, not just the pain, but also the smiles, and also to know that what Black people fought for got a lot of people in this country. Like, there would be no immigrants damn near if it wasn't for the civil rights movement. Just to be treated and seen as a human being was what Black people fought for. If y'all have not known or don't know about the Rainbow Coalition, go look it up. If you don't know about the Black Panther Party, go look it up. There are people in our community who fought for the rights for everybody. But I want to show you these images. When asked why he took so many photographs of Black Americans, distinguished civil rights photographer Bob Alderman replies with characteristic humility that as a young man he was drawn to Black people. In the 1950s, positive portraits of Blacks in mainstream, white-controlled media were difficult to find. Mostly what we saw were pictures of Negroes in some form of civil disturbance or being arrested by the police, or demeaning caricatures that relentlessly demonized people of color as inferior, dangerous, or pathetically comic figures. But the artistic eyes of Alderman, who volunteered his services as a photographer to the Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, perceived for 4 decades, a period covering the early 1960s into the 1990s, something quite different. With compassion and courage, since taking photos in the Jim Crow South often put his own life at risk, he conjured the humanity, grace, and dignity of his subjects. Looking at some of his pre-civil rights era images, we were transported back to what seems not just a different time, but a different world, one of racial segregation, America's version of apartheid, which Alderman accurately describes as a madhouse. While a photograph can capture a moment, freezing it in time for eternity, it cannot reveal the conditions and causes that are the background for the image. We need to interpret and understand. A Black man, his stringy muscles taut in his forearms, trucks cotton at a gin, pulling his load like a beast of burden. The eyes of children stare at us through the mail slot of a front door number 23. Sadly, we realize these particular scenes, which reveal so much about the social world created for Blacks by whites, could reflect any time during the 244-year history of American slavery, or the century bracketed by the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. These are people from whom everything has been taken. Unseen, stretching behind them are their predecessors who experienced the physical and psychological trauma and horrors of the Middle Passage, then 2.5 centuries of chattel bondage. That oppression clings to each and every one of these photographs. One of the issues we deal with every day is the vestiges of our enslavement, and our post-enslavement treatment in this country has been such that it has beat us down as people in so many ways.
Like leaves on the Mississippi River. Black leaves in the Mississippi fire. Black leaves in the Mississippi choir. Black leaves on the Mississippi land. And we've got garden, we've got sons and daughters, we got grit and glory, we've got mama stories, we've got strength like towers, we got hope and power. God made woman with an iron.
Make sure you get your calendar.